Welcome to Valley Newsline for the week of January 7, 2007. Hello, I'm your host, Ron Whitlock. Bill Summers, President and CEO of the Rio Grande Valley Partnership and a member of the Alliance for I-69 Texas, says that he does not believe that motorists such as you and I would ever have to pay a toll on an interstate linking the valley to I-37 in Corpus Christi. There might be some special lanes for trucks, says Summers, that the truckers may have to pay for, but current highways will not be a toll road based on his opinion. I don't think the people coming to the valley or people leaving the Rio Grande Valley of South Texas will ever have to pay a toll on either 77 or US 281. Recently, this reporter asked Texas Governor Rick Perry about his pledge to finish Interstate 37 from Corpus Christi to the Port of Brownsville. Here's the governor's response.
Those roads will be built when they're needed, and I think that's an important part of this, is that we're not fixing to go off on some building program just for the sake of building. So all of it will be driven by the private sector and them making a decision along with the state that those types of roads will be needed, and as they are needed, they will be built.
Texas Governor Rick Perry seemed to infer that I-37 to the Rio Grande Valley would only be built based on need, along with other projects for highways around the state of Texas. What does TxDOT Chairman Rick Williamson have to say? Well, we talked to him also. Chairman of the Transportation Committee of the House of Representatives, Mike Cruzy, appeared on the program and talked in terms of the RMA. Hidalgo County has the capability of going north out of its county boundary lines necessarily, yes, and working to solve some of the problems in Three Rivers, George West, Ben Bolt, and so forth. And then also on the same program, he brought with him to that same conference when they were starting the RMA there in the county, Commissioner Cousins from Montgomery, where they've been the first in the nation, in the state really, to get behind the ball there in their county and build roads, they say 8 years ahead of where TxDOT could have done so. They've had a pretty good economic boom. Their tax rates have gone down. Is the RMA the solution potentially to the valley's transportation problem?
It is if local and regional leaders decide that it is. If you noticed our strategies that were up on the board a while ago, one of our strategies is empower local and regional leaders. Not force, but empower. Our plan permits mayors, county judges, and regional transportation people to decide amongst themselves if that is their best solution, and then tell us what they need to help make that happen. So if local and regional leaders think so, it's okay with us.
The governor committed to completion of Interstate to the Valley at his appearance before the I-69 coalition. Does that involve completing I-37 from Corpus Christi to Brownsville and the port? Is that what he's talking about, and is that going to happen?
It does not require 37. It probably will be financially a stronger package to turn and go south all the way to the Republic of Mexico at the same time, but it's not required. And that we actually are making our plans to extend that road to interstate quality no matter what happens with 37.
So 69, which shows a three-legged situation, one going into Brownsville, one going into Farr, one going into Laredo. Is that really going to happen? Is that potentially going to happen?
Well, it's still in the environmental process, so I'm prohibited by law from saying one way or the other. I don't know.
Okay, the answer you just gave me would necessarily infer that 37 could go into Brownsville, because I know that Judge-elect Carlos Cascos is talking to you about that possibility of extending 37.
Yeah, the answer I gave you on 69 does not mean that 37 could not or should go south. That will be a decision that local and regional leaders will have to make, and once they make that decision, then it will be up to the environmental process to determine if it's feasible. The point the governor was making at the I-69 conference, and he would make if he were here today, is he's instructed us to spend the money to get an interstate quality highway from Corpus Christi through the Brownsville, McAllen area, and we're going to do that.
That specific project?
Or a project of some kind. There's going to be an interstate quality highway in that area.
The governor spoke to this conference about just-in-time delivery necessitating what you're talking about, just-in-time delivery of products, let's say to Detroit, being manufactured in the maquiladoras in Reynosa, about the Motos. If they don't get to Detroit, then Detroit shuts down.
Correct. And
And you understand that?
I completely understand that.
Seems to be a difference between what Texas Governor Rick Perry told this reporter and what the chairman of TxDOT, Rick Williamson, told this reporter in Austin. At the Stephen F. Austin Hotel in Austin recently, the chairman of TxDOT, Rick Williamson, told the meeting members of the Texas Border Coalition what the future funding needs for highway transportation for South Texas is going to look like.
Or those before them. This governor and this legislature for 4 years, 5 years, 6 years almost, have done what is necessary to solve the problem. It is up now to the citizens and the mayors and county judges and commissioners and community leaders to embrace what they've done, wrap their arms around it, absorb it, and make it work for them. I want to be real brief about this, but you got to know the answer to this question. The highway pot is divided according to a formula developed 50 years ago. The formula basically hasn't changed for 50 years. Now, Senator Graham, Senator Hutchison, Senator Cornyn, maybe Senator Benson before he left, and I'm not sure the fight started before he advanced to the next level. And a lot of House members, including, some that maybe some people in this room don't think much of, have fought hard to change that formula, and they've changed it a little bit. But in terms of total dollars, not much, and I'll tell you why. I'll pick on a Republican and a Democrat. Why would Teddy Kennedy cut the pie in Massachusetts smaller for us? Why would Trent Lott cut the pie in Mississippi smaller to help us? The answer is they won't. They won't ever do that.
During our recent trip to the state capitol in Austin, we talked to Lieutenant Governor Gov Dewhurst, along with other reporters, outside a meeting dealing with the state's education needs. Here's that interview.
Not only did we give a pay raise to our good teachers in May in the special session, but we raised standards. We added a 4th year of math and science. And I think that we've got to go increasingly for all students, not have exceptions if the parents agree, to the increased curriculum where all the students are taking a 4th year of math and science. We've got to have our students prepared to compete not only in just a Texas economy, as I said just a moment ago, but in a world economy. In this next session, starting in January, I'm going to ask the legislature to continue to work on improving public education, to close down some of the charter schools that need to be closed down, to expand some of the others, to look at ways that we can improve the quality of our teachers by having more certified, by doing a better job in training our principals, because our principals, just like our teachers, are really the key. You can have some great teachers, but if you don't have the right principal, you're not going to have a great school.
You think maybe the state board, when they moved to devalue the math and science, were pandering to tax and the level that of the state averages and that sort of thing of the students? They may have been doing that when they moved to lower those values.
The legislature wants the high school curriculum to be increased, not decreased. And we made it very, very clear that we want a 4th year of math and science. We want to do everything we can to make sure that our students are prepared to go out in the 21st century and succeed.
You talked today about teacher evaluation. That's a pretty hot button issue with teachers in Texas. You worried about their support?
Good teachers don't have any problem about being evaluated. We want to make sure that any proposal that we put forth is done the right way, that is sensitive to our teachers, at the same time permits them to understand where they're making progress and where they don't. Because at the end of the day, our children have to come first. They're our future.
The funding needs for South Texas and the Rio Grande Valley are going to be varied. The battle line is going to be drawn between the border and North Texas based on what we understand from everyone covering the state capitol, especially as it relates to everything south of I-10 and everything north of I-10. Valley Newsline continues to monitor what's going on in Austin, and we'll be covering this session of the Texas legislature as best we can for you to know. Stay tuned to Valley Newsline and valleynewsline.tv. Till next time, adios.